Okay, so now that we're kind of have explored the basic shape building and stuff like that, now it's time to get into a little more advanced use of color. So I'm going to get you to draw a couple of shapes, maybe a star, maybe an oval, whatever you like. But we're just going to make sure that they overlap with each other. So you remember in the color when we made our global colors, we can adjust the tint. Okay, so that shows that color through there. But what I'm going to do is I'm now going to duplicate. So again, with the selection tool, Alt, click, drag to duplicate the shapes. We are now going to bring up another window called Transparency. So it's down here under Window, Transparency. I've got mine grouped with the gradient just because they often go together, but let's keep it separate for now. So it looks just like this. Okay, so you can see that the opacity here, 100%. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the tint. I'm also going to show something right side by side over here. So I'm going to make both of these 100% tint again. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to make this 50% opaque. And I'm going to make this 50% tinted. Now, in the recording, hopefully you guys will be able to see the color's a little different. It's applied something a little differently here too, because all I've done is tinted the fill and not the stroke. Whereas here I've applied opacity to the whole shape, which is applied to both the fill and the stroke. Now, a lot of people think these are kind of interchangeable because if you're working with a white background, it can kind of look like they are. But the thing is they're not. And as soon as we look at a shape that is in like a layer stack here, where this shape's in front of this shape, I'm going to go 50%. And now it's like, you can see through the color. And because it's the same color, it almost looks like it's in front, but it isn't. It's still over top. Whereas this one is 50% or 55%, let's make it 50. That's not allowing anything to show through. You can combine those. You can combine opacity and tint. And then you're going to get transparency of white, but also it's 50% transparent of a 50% tint. So tint and transparency work together in different ways to achieve different effects. They're not interchangeable though. They work in different ways. So you get different effects with the opacity and tinting. We're going to get also into these blend modes because this can really change the way colors are rendered and also how they print when we're setting up our colors. But just get comfortable with it, make some shapes, add your red swatch that you've got, and just get comfortable with the differences between transparency and color. If it helps to put these two side by side like this, so that you can kind of really get your head around how these two things are different. That'll help you get on your way to understanding how Illustrator works with your color swatches once you've got them set up this way. Color and transparency do two different things, but they also can be used together to achieve different effects. And we'll use transparency and tint in things like gradients, all kinds of things. So it's a really fundamental thing to understand these color and transparency palettes and how they work with your swatch library. So do that. That's your little exercise here. Set up a couple of shapes, make sure they're overlapping, play around with transparency and color, and you'll see the different effects you get.